Hello, everybody, and welcome to this is the Gaming Tavern Season 0 of the League of Legends. This is Series 1 of the day of Week 1, of course, between Endless Noid and the Subway Pizza Hat Rats here. And I am Halfling, one of your casters here, joined by my other co-caster here, Fel.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the inaugural week. As he said, we got a good banger lined up. We got the Subway Pizza, as he said, the Subway Pizza Rats versus Endless Noid, and I'm really looking forward to this one. This one's going to start the season off with a bang. Should be really good.
It should be really good here. These teams should be getting into draft here very shortly. Just waiting on a couple extra last second decisions, last second ban choices, and so on. But Fal, it's been a couple weeks since the draft, of course. Everyone making sure they meet their teammates and get to know everybody and make sure that they figure out exactly what's going to happen because this is the first week of actual competition. And you kind of look down these rosters. Do you see anyone important that you're really expecting to be standout figures here tonight?
So I think on the side of Subway Pizza Rats, looking into the jungle. Oh, and the draft is actually started. The
Yeah.
Looking into the jungle is probably going to be the biggest factor here. Controlling the tempo of the game, getting off what they need to support their team, and all of that stuff, and just. I'd be really interested with the minimal amount of time that these teams have had to play together, how crisp and clean. I think whatever team works together better is going to be the one that really sets the tone and starts it off well. And after the first game, the adjustments that are made is going to be the biggest thing to look for.
Yeah, and we're getting actually really quickly into draft. I'm surprised these teams are going quickly, but we
Yeah.
can run through those bands. The Smolder, the Gnar, the Mumu, something that maybe you've seen happen a lot in these leagues, kind of around this MMR range as we're sitting around the Platinum 4 to Gold 1 or so average. Of course, there's like a wide variety on the teams, but averages are averages. And the Lilia, Urgot, and Tom Kench banned there by the Subway Pizza Rats. So running through Senna, Nautilus found by Endless Noid. Their bot lane locked in really early on, and Subway Pizza Rats picking up a little bit more flexibility with that Corki and the Mundo.
Yeah, I think it'll be really interesting. We know that Zaldratis is good on the Azir. That's one of his main champs that he's played in seasons past. So to have Jesterology take that from him and run it over. Senna obviously is a highly contested pick recently. I'll be interested to see how that's played and whether the Nautilus and Senna can work really well together, and then set up for stacking early. Over on the Subway Pizza Rat side, we have Corky and the Mundo. I'd assume the Mundo is going top, but as we know, that champ has gotten a lot of love in the jungle recently. Really strong pick. It's going to be something to look forward into the mid to late game to see where that goes. And we see the Annie coming out as well. So they're really going on, trying to get some lockdown to sort of push along, keep the Azir at bay, maybe some disengage or re-engage, and some good flanks that we should see from the mid laner Zaldratis over on SPR.
From either mid lane or both teams kind of leaving their options a little open. I like Senna Nautilus just because of their flexibility. They're considered, at least in the professional meta, maybe not me personally. I don't think they're actually that strong of a laning duo, but they do have a lot of potential to deal damage that a wide dredge line from Nautilus that's his hook is has just so much damage. It's one of the highest base damage hooks in the game, up there with Pike, and Pike builds full AD, so of course is going to deal more damage. But Annie's really good at locking down any mid laner. She can pressure anyone at level 6 as long as she's on even footing. So you really have to keep your eyes on mid lane. You have to keep your eyes on the flanks, like you mentioned. You have to keep your eyes also on the jungle there. And talking about jungle there, Subway Pizza Rat's actually taking out a champion jungler from Endless Noise jungler Zabel. He loves the Darius. It's so easy to gank, to farm, to be very flexible and team fight really well. And it's just a lot of what Zabel really likes to do. It also can counter the potential Mundo flex, but I expect that to be going top lane. The Mundo specifically to be going top lane there, but there's still topside bans being focused all around here with the rest of these bans, the Ornn, the Malphite, and that Yorick.
And if that is a Mundo top, I mean, they just wasted bans. Uh, so yeah, that's going to be the interesting thing, right? Mothra versus Zabel, as I was saying earlier, is Zabel has a very good, very specific style, invading, fighting, going the 2v2s inside the enemy jungles. As we see, the Vi is picked up, so. Mothra is going to be on that. He showed a lot of promise on that towards the end of his last season at Valhalla. He likes to scrap, likes to fight, likes to go a little bit too deep sometimes. But when it works like a charm. It'll be interesting to see what Zabel picks to counter that or to go toe to toe with that. Um, you know,
They're
as we
gonna
see
go.
the Pantheon. Yeah, the Pantheon gets locked in on the side of Endless Noid. Um, might be a top lane, could be a jungle for Zabel. I guess we'll the R5 Zabel pick might be coming in here. Um, I mean they're looking good. It is going to be a Pantheon jungle and a Renekton over at the top lane. So this will be good to see the Renekton versus the Mundo, and then just how the jungle matchup goes. If Annie is a pretty passive, so um, as far as like clearing the wave and getting it down. So Vi might be a little exposed in the jungle. They're gonna have to get some wards to make sure that Zabel's not in there too much, along with the Zir.
It's gonna really be about if you're Subway Pizza Hut, it's really gonna be about keeping your eyes on that jungler. Because while yes, Nautilus has the tools, while yes, Azir has the tools to start fights, it's gonna be about that Pantheon ultimate, that global or semi-global. It's long enough range. It's a global.
It's
Uh,
global.
that it's just so hard to deal with, and it's so easy to start fights, and it's so easy to cause issues and create uh lapses in communication that you have to keep your eyes on it. You have to know which side he's on. You have to respect it. And if you don't respect it just for a second, look at all those lanes running down the map. It's pretty hard to deal with it if you're any of those champions. If you're Corki Renata getting behind against Senna Nautilus, you're really going to struggle. You're going to struggle to find a way back in the game. You really only have one chance to mess up pre level 6. Afterwards, it's so hard to get back. Yeah, you've got the level 6 bite, you've got the big rocket that can pump a lot of damage and out damage alongside that armor shred from Senna. But if you get locked out, if you get shut down, Subway Pizza Rats really don't scale this game to my eyes.
Oh, you're right. And the Renata to me is a little weird. I would have gone if you're gonna go Enchanter, maybe something a little different. Her ult is as we know a game changer, but I mean, who on the side of Endless Noid really has that like super crit, tons of damage, auto attacks with a lot of speed that's really gonna like shred themselves if it hits like two or three people. But you're right. If they fall behind, it's going to be a tough uphill battle. They're gonna have to rely on the Mundo to split and to just be in the face, and hopefully it's enough. But Endless Noise Draft, I like it a lot better. I think that it has a lot more team fight potential, get in the backline potential. The Azir can isolate targets. The Renekton can just be a menace in the backline while they're just trying to survive and get the poke damage out from the Corki. And I don't know. I feel like Endless Noid's draft itself is just a lot easier to pilot and control. However, if the Corki and Renata get ahead, if the Vi can sustain and get ahead and stay healthy on the early side of this game, it could eventually just snowball against Endless Noid. They'll just have to stop that from happening. The Senna is going to scale infinitely. There's going to be a lot of protection for her, and if they can keep that going up, I think that Endless Noid is going to win this one. That would be my prediction. I know we haven't gotten to predictions, but I'm sort of quickly going to that. The Yeah, I like the comp of Endless Noid a lot better. The Subway Pizza Rats to me just a little bit harder, a little more isolation. Annie blows her load and then that's it. So we'll see what goes on here. What are your thoughts on this?
I like the tools that Subway Pizza Huts has. You can see that those names are flipped around. Don't worry about them. We'll get those fixed up in a second. Um, don't worry about them right now. But really, all that matters if you're Subway Pizza Huts is you have a lot of options to make fights happen. You can really force any issue that you want. You have the Annie, you have that season, you have the Annie Bear. I like to call it the Bear Diff. You're gonna hear me mention that so much so often. You just have a lot of options. But as Kazuto mentioned in chat, thank you so much. The Subway Pizza Huts just have a harder comp. Yeah, they've got options, but you got to really rely on Corky getting in there, landing every rocket that they can. You got to rely on an anti flash stun to follow up a cease and desist. You have to rely on Mundo to not get too far behind. Whereas when you look at Endless Noid, yeah, they have harder options to get in. It's really only Dredge Line and Pantheon stun, but everything else looks pretty clean. You don't want to primary engage with the Shurima Shuffle, Emperor's Divide, if you care about the actual name, but everyone knows the real name of it. Um, Everything else, though, to me, screams Endless Noid is just in a very clear advantage in terms of options that they have come 30, 35 plus minutes into the game.
And we know the Pantheon falls off, but Senna does not. Azir does not. Renekton will survive. I just feel like the tank options on Endless Noid are better with more damage output. Um, Nautilus, as long as he doesn't fall too far behind in the beginning, um, will be tanky enough to hold off some of the damage from the Annie, from the Vi, be able to disengage and hold off. The biggest thing to me is going to be here. Is going to be the jungle. It's going to be if Zabel gets his invades in, and if Mothra can withstand that, hold it off, maybe win the smite battle for some of the contested buffs and things like that, uh, and then on the bot lane, if Renata and Quirky get ahead, I think it's going to be a turtle hard. Just chill out, wait till we scale. But if Endless Noid gets ahead in the early game, I don't see any way that they throw this one and lose it.
You don't feel like Endless Noid can really struggle in the late game, and I don't feel like it either. One last check in before we head to a quick break, just to finish off the spec delay and wait for any unexpected pauses at the start of the game. Endless Noid or Subway Pizza Rats? Who you picking in this game?
I already said it from the draft. I think Endless Noid just has it. Like I said, Renekton being able to just be chaos in the back line, while Pantheon can stave off some of the poke and the damage after going in with his E. Azir being able to just damage from half a screen away, and then Senna, if she gets the late game, I mean, she's going to be hitting these guys and shredding their armor, slowing them down, while Nautilus just keeps her safe and then maybe get the picks. I do think that if Subway Pizza Rats controls the vision better, and I think that's not something that we hadn't talked about yet, but if Subway Pizza Rats controls the vision and can get some good picks and things like that off early, then they do have a chance. I just feel like Endless Noid's easier to play and execute.
Execution is the name of the game, but we'll be checking back in right after this quick little short break. Don't go anywhere. Hello, everybody, and welcome to game one of the first series, week one here of the Gaming Taverns League of Legends League here. Endless Noid versus Subway Pizza Rats here. And if you know anything about these players, you've been playing in houses, you know Zabel likes invade, so both teams are here and ready to plan into it. And sorry, Phil, I got to give it a second because
Oh,
it's just going to be a full on bloodbath 5v5. Zabel getting caught out there, and he's so low, he's too squishy on the Pantheon. Has to flash out there, Mike, putting a lot of damage there on the on the Mundo there, and he's getting so low. Paladin Joe, no hook thrown yet. Ajuma also quite low. Halcyon putting a lot of work there with the Corki as well. No kills found. Boosted Sandwich getting a little bit of work there with those Senna stacks, but not enough. No advantages found, but hey, we like the level ones.
there a couple advantages. If you notice, Mundo used his flash, and Pantheon and Renekton both used the flash and a ignite. So some of these top lane is going to be igniteless and ghostless, and yeah, that's just crazy. Of course, it starts out that way. Zabel, Mothra matching Zabel's energy on that, and yeah, an invade at 30 seconds in is not surprising for these two teams.
No, it's always something that you have to think about with Zabel teams. Anytime he's in the game here, it's just something that you got to think about. You got to care about it because any sort of advantage found in that level one is just going to be astronomical. It's going to blow out of proportions, especially when you look at some of these lanes. Imagine if Renekton got that kill. Imagine if Pantheon comes back with that longsword, those clear speeds, that extra bullying power. Maybe Senna gets it. Everyone would really benefit from something. Of course they would, but it's just gonna matter so much more. And a beautiful handshake there. Found out a booster getting
Oh, yeah.
chunked out quite a lot. You gotta respect that Corki early.
Yeah, the Corki, and then Renata starting Q over there, pulling him back in and just keeping him inside of that. Um this bot lane, as we talked about early, is going to be contentious, and it may be the deciding factor of this one. And out the gate, it looks like Crockett and Halcyon taking the advantage early on.
Yeah, getting a little bit of that early advantage. It's not unexpected here if you're going to be running a like a range support plus Corki. Corki has so much damage early. You have to care about the armor shred from the Gatling gun.
Mhm.
It just puts in so much work, especially when you're two kind of squishier champions. Senna doesn't have a lot of armor to work with. Nautilus really relies on that aftershock and that W shield to actually be tanky. Otherwise, they can be pretty squishy, and Corki's really happy to lane into squishier people.
Oh yeah, totally. And another thing to note, the jungles started opposite sides. They both started red side. So the bot lane may have Mothra showing up on the Vi, and top lane may go look to try to punish that Mundo for not having Ghost. Ajuma might be able to jump on him with the Renekton, and as I say it, they're already pinging Sable coming in for an early gank in here, but
That
not
is
sure if
going to
it's
be
gonna
the
hit.
slice and dice. He found that stun, but Mike is really tanky on this Mundo. And Zabel is here, doesn't have that flash, so no way to really get on there reliably, and no damage, no follow-up. Is gonna just burn that stun. Shield doesn't block tower shots, and the spear through it is gonna miss. So no damage. Zabel spotted out and caught on an earlier clear. That's a lot of information for Subway Pizza Rats.
It sure is, and he's behind already on the clears. He doesn't have his blue buff yet. He is going to get this scuttle uncontested, but Mothra's going to be able to do his full clear, maybe get the scuttle, get some vision down, and then and back and be on the map before Zabel. So uh, I don't know if I really like that gank. I think it was a little forced, but Azuma going back in here, just trying to keep the Mundo's passive down, make him sweat a little bit.
Yeah, it still recharges, but you're just trying to abuse every single second that you can as the Mundo, or every single second you have as the Renekton into the Mundo because you don't want to deal with that shield. Yes, the when you pop that stun shield, you lose a percentage of your HP as Mundo, but you have so much regen. You have the ability to re-grab that canister on the ground if Mundo is in a good spot to grab it as well. So it can be a net benefit early on. So you really do want to push as hard as you can right now. And you can also see Paladin Logan's actually trying to line up some little hook on Halcyon, but they have the level advantage. They have those minions. It's quite scary. And something we haven't really talked about is Mothra. You saw Mothra there checking those camps, but Zabel had a good enough clear to be able to clear their bot side before Mothra was able to be there. But they're back top side here.
They're really trying to put some pressure onto this Mundo. Get the Renekton ahead if they can, so he can be just a monster late game. And of course, he transitions it into a free, into a free
Oh, beautiful.
invade. but
Oh, you're under tower.
oh, he
Ajima getting
is.
first
Ajima
blood, and Mike
messes
found it.
up. I
Zabel
know.
stuck here in the 2v1. Is going to get a little bit of the camp, trying to flash forward, find that spear. Is able to cut down Mike, but Mothra on this Vi has so much consistent damage. Gesturology is here with the, not the quite the shuffle, but just an Emperor's Divide. No way to follow. Mothra is able to find that kill. 1-4-2 in this top lane. Subway Pizza Rats come out on top on not their play.
Right, and that is huge. And just like you said, it's not their play. They reacted to it and somehow just getting an advantage off of an invade from Zabel and an overstep, I guess, from the Renekton, just staying inside that tower range, one too many shots. That's a big misstep, and Mundo having a kill and Vi having a kill now will be able to just hope, may potentially pressure the rest of this map. We'll see how it goes from here, and if they keep trying to target this top side.
And something, if any of my my pro enjoyers watched, they saw a Mundo Broken Blade was on that Mundo earlier today, and he didn't build a lot of armor earlier on, and that's something that I really like to talk about with Mundos is they build so much HP on this champion because HP stacking is really strong. But when you don't have armor, you don't have a way to drop some sort of like upfront damage from a champion like Renekton, like Pantheon, who are really front loaded in their kits. It's going to be tough here. And Zabel is back in the bot lane. Hitchhiks going to land, slowing down some sort of follow up. Dreadline is down. The root comes from the Senna, but no follow up. Crockett stepping forward confidently.
Right, and you know that's them being able to go back early on and get what they and get their buys and their resets in and coming back and I mean had Zabel gone bot first, maybe that would have been a different outcome. But yeah, you know, Renata's actually kind of tanky with her E and the
Guardian?
shielding that comes out from it.
Yeah, and Guardian as well. I like taking Guardian or Renata just because you can stand shoulder to shoulder with your Corki like this, and you can just stand in front of everything, confidently eat it, get that Guardian shield, get an extra 150 HP to work with from the shield. It just makes it so much easier. And I really like something Crockett did here. Maybe not intentional, but something a lot of people, if you've been paying attention to, say, the NACLOQ or Pro Play, especially in like LCK in China, is many supports have swapped away from Ignite into Heal now. And that's an anti-roam. Ajima is stuck in a bad place, has to flash out of there, but back into the bot lane. Halcyon's going to get rooted up, but the follow-up is not there. Boosted Sandwich has no mana. He's trying to fight this, but that Corki's so strong. Paladin Logan might be the sacrificial
This
pawn
is
there.
gonna
TP
be
coming into the
tricky
bot
one
lane.
here.
It's actually Annie. Zeldratus is TPing bot lane because Zabel is here on the flank. Halcyon has no Valkyrie, no way to get out of this. Just trying to walk the right of there, using that vision, using those bushes perfectly. Forces that TP out, though. I feel like Endless Noid got the betterment of that deal.
I do too, just because the TP is gone. But had he not done that, does Zabel overcommit there? You know what I mean?
Oh,
So, ooh,
talk about overcommit. Ajima just cuts down Mike Mothers here in the top side, has that cease and desist, but then he used it. Ajima still he's not able to be contained. Mothra has to flash out of that fight. The red buff is enough to keep you alive for just a little bit longer, but Ajima, a monster in this top lane.
yeah, and that's what we were talking about earlier. Is this this top lane? You know, Renekton getting ahead. They tried it early, it didn't work, and then they just let Mike do his thing, and and that's the way that he's gonna get there, I guess. Zabel tried to force it early, but it happens anyway. Even though it didn't work at first, it did end up working, at least for now. Uh,
Yeah, and we're kind of getting into this objective focused part of the game. Something a lot of people do kind of complain about is, oh, there's too many objectives, and they did reduce them a little bit at this point in time. And Zabel claiming those top grubs pretty important. It allows a split pusher such as Renekton, who doesn't have TP, to really focus hard on that splitting and empower what work they're going to be doing because they can't join fights there, and the trade is coming down to the bot lane.
right, and I kind of feel like Subway Pizza Rats here missed an opportunity to get this dragon a little bit earlier. Obviously, they're not going to get punished for it. It is still free, but it is something Mothra could be done with that by now. They did see everybody heading up that way. But yep, objectives traded. I think it's going to favor Subway Pizza Rats, in my opinion. But
Oh,
oh,
there's a play kind of working on in the mid lane there. Handshake's gonna land on Pound and Logan, but they're quite tanky. Emperor's Divide still is there. That's the bear. Pound and Logan
yeah,
getting
he's out of
chunked
mana.
out, but Zeldris has no mana. As you mentioned, there's nothing you can really do as Annie if you can't have any follow. Halcyon going forward with the rocket. Lots of damage there onto Portal boosted.
Yeah, he went forward, but then quickly went back, almost like just like a little skirmish. Hey, how you doing, trade? Instead of going all in, I feel like he probably could have had that if he wanted it, but a little cautious in his trade there with boosted.
Yeah, he doesn't want to get caught out. I don't think they quite knew exactly. Well, they had a good idea where Pantheon was, but they didn't know if he was pathing down. They haven't. I don't believe they've seen him use his ultimate. I imagine they saw him on that bot side trade. Not was trying to use that slice and dice, trying to close that distance. Was able back top lane, but Mike playing so safe even without that flash.
Yeah, it's almost like he has a sixth sense for where Zabel's at, but he was sitting on a ward, so they're gonna need to clear that and get that out of there if they want to keep pressing this pressure up top. Let's
It's,
back into the bot lane here.
name of the game has really been about top lane. But if we take a little check of this gold, yes, it's even. But if we look at these specific champions, I'm really looking at that mid and that bot lane. Is it Gesturology up so much? Already 20 CS, 20 creep score ahead of that Annie and bot lane. It's the exact opposite story. 400 gold, almost a full kill up is Halcyon in that bot lane. You're really seeing it put in work. Zaldratus is top lane here. Ajma's getting caught out the stun. The bear is not anywhere to be found, and
Yeah.
it's more than enough. Feat of Warfare claimed. Subway Pizza Rats get another one on the board.
Right, and this is what we're saying. If they can get ahead early,
Uh,
Mothra
hold,
is
hold on, Mothra. What are you doing? He's gonna flash. Trying to use that cease and desist to buffer it. Doesn't have a way to get out of there. That was the dawning shadow from Senna, but it wasn't enough to save there. It was enough to not even get an assist. Not even enough to get an assist. That's so sad.
wasted all, but it happens. As a Senna enjoyer myself, it happens more often than you'd like to admit. But yeah, Mothra, I think it's just not realizing that he's a jungler and not a mid laner, and just underestimating how much damage comes out from Azir at this point with
And
the
once you're
Nashor's full.
Yeah, and you're standing in like what, three of his soldiers minimum at times like that. It's not a great idea, but I do kind of respect the attempt. You're expecting yourself to deal a lot more damage than you are.
Mhm.
You don't have an item though. He's up what, 2 levels, 3 levels, like probably two at the time. It's just so much.
Yeah, it was two.
Yeah, it's just so much that you have to really overcome. And Zabel is in that bush. Mothra is going to spot it out on that trinket, on that Oracle's lens, and they're just going to jettison the play. There is, I don't know the objective timers. That's not good. Oh well, we'll figure it out later there. Um, actually, fourth wall break. Miko, can you turn on the objective timers? Just hit the I in the bottom left. Yeah, that guy in the objective timers. Yeah, and then turn off
There we
chat. Ah, perfect. It did itself. It's off. Perfect. Yay, a
All
little behind the
right.
scenes look. So
Yeah.
120 on that dragon. It's an important timer. He's in a movie. Uh, but still, that's a pretty important timer. 1 minute on this cloud dragon. You really do want to get up on these dragons, especially if you're a team that maybe doesn't scale as well like Subway Pizza Rats.
Yeah, I think when I said it earlier that they got the void endless noid with the void grubs, but Subway Pizza Rats getting that dragon in the handshake deal should be able to help them more than the grubs are going to help endless noid.
Yeah, and the movement speed's one of the more underrated stats. I feel like in just League of Legends in general, it helps you get around the map so much. You can see how much especially these mid laners, are really moving around. Annie's gotten 2 to 3 top roams off. Azir's gotten 1 to 2 off as well. And
Like they're
especially
gonna,
it's helping your junglers get around. And there's a lot of pings. They both sides really do want this dragon, but Mothra doesn't know they're on a ward quite
Mhm.
yet, and they figured it out now. And that's no
Uh,
jungler. That's a lot of pings onto Zoldratus here. They've got the stun, but Padalone's going to find that Dreadline. That's the Pantheon. That's a stun. That's a CC lock.
yeah,
There's
they
nowhere for them to go. And that's just the one that Elden Snoid found, and they're happy with that for the dragon.
right. And endless noid, as you said, were pinging like we were looking. I was thinking that they were going to be diving the bot lane, especially with Halcyon uh, sitting there. He was at lower health. The Subway Pizza Rat's just reacting to that a little bit too slowly. The good proactive play from Endless Noid, especially once they realized that the Mothra was topside, they're like, "Yeah, we're taking this. This is ours." So some bad vision control on the side of Subway Pizza Rats ends up costing them not just the death but the dragon as well. And then it looks like we're going to end up having Infernal Drake this time. So maybe a way for them to cut through tanks a little bit better if it gets to that stage.
Just helps your poke stick a little better. No one's gonna argue against free AD and AP, but everyone is gonna argue about who gets the Herald right now. I'm really keeping my eye on that Azir flash, as that's your big cooldown to abuse.
Oh, they're
Ajma's
coming
gonna
in.
find Mike, burns that canister early. Mothra's gonna find this engage onto Zabel. Dredgeline is perfect onto Mothra. There's no quite follow up yet. That's cease and desist onto Zabel, but he's too tanky. He's gonna find Mothra. Ajma is a little bit of a problem now, but Mike was able to finish off Zabel there for 1-for-1 so far in this fight, and that's the bailout onto Mike. It's gonna expire just in time. Endless Noid, beautiful in these team fights. There's nowhere for Crockett to go. Gonna get one last dredge line from Paladin Logan. Double kill claimed by Gesturology on this Azir. Endless Noid have found everything they want.
Yeah, and this is just a perfect case of somebody getting there right before you and being able to stop the Vi with that dredge line. That was huge. Even though Mike ended up getting a kill in the back line against the Pantheon, it doesn't matter. There's still 3 alive on the side of Endless Noid. They just cleaned that fight up almost perfectly. That was impressive how well that went, and the communication that followed and the execution was just on point there for Endless Noid.
Yeah, it's so hard to deal with how much CC, how many options they have really to just apply whatever they want. He's gonna get knocked up by that poor little Herald. It's not enough to claim the tower. A little fun
Just
fact. I don't know if you know this,
don't ride
Fell,
it.
but the if you don't ride it,
It
it
does
does
more
more
damage.
damage.
Hmm.
Not a
The
patch note reader here.
yeah, the other thing about that too is that had that fight went any better for them, Subway Pizza Rats, the top lane tower was like 2
Ooh,
shots from Mundo dead as they go
yeah,
in
it's
here.
Yeah, and Mundo is also really close to dying there. That Black Cleaver putting in a lot of work, helping this Pantheon do just even more damage as he seems to be setting into a lot more of a carry-oriented Pantheon build. But still, everyone's got damage, and Dredgeline under the tower. Boosted's on the way. That's the I don't remember the name of it. It's the Nautilus ultimate, and Zeldratus is here. The
Oh,
bear is through. That's an outplay. Shut down claim by Zeldratus. TP's coming down the bot lane. There's no stun. Mothra's going to get locked up here on the top side. Zabel's caught out, and he's going to get cease and desisted here and just going to fall. There's nowhere free to go, man. Back into the bot lane there. That's an Emperor's Divide. The bear's still alive. Tibbers putting in a lot of work there on the Gesturology. Paddle Logan has to run, has to hide, has to get out. Halcyon not going to quite find the rockets that he needs. And that's still Endless Noid on the back foot on that play.
yeah. While that all was happening, Renekton takes the top tower, so there goes the bootsies for Subway Pizza Rats. But as we were saying earlier, the first person to show up and to make that and to make the flank or the outnumber happen is what wins you the fight. And we just saw it from Zaldratis. A great roam ahead of the Azir, and they get what they want out of that fight because his roam timer was just better.
Yeah, his roam timer was so much better there. I'm trying to remember. I'm like desperately trying to remember the Nautilus ult. I'm not gonna lie, as I
Dredge line.
because there's what's up?
I think it's Dredge line.
No, that's the Q.
That's
I
the
thought.
Q.
No, I'm not looking it up.
Oh, we'll get corrected. We'll get corrected by the
We'll get
chat, I'm
corrected.
sure.
Someone's got it. Someone knows it better than me. Ajma though taking a lot of trades there doesn't have the sustain to work with. People are mentioning there in chat as I'm vehemently trying to defend it, but back in the mid lane there, Gesturology has to flash out Esau Crockett one last second. I understand the idea behind going Eclipse, but I do still feel like someone needs to go uh, Black Cleaver anyway. Mike though is getting a lot of poke that depth charge.
We'll
Oh my
remember that.
god, it started with a D. Ugh, I don't want to say dick.
But you did.
But
Uh,
I did.
so moving on, another thing to note is that the boots do go over to the Endless Noid because that Renekton did get the push into the Mundo, did get the top tower. And even though Subway Pizza Rats have gotten the second tower, here's Endless Noid is trying to cut off the Annie. They did get the first tower. They do get the boots. And Annie's getting
Oh,
caught out.
Yeah, and he's getting caught out, but the bear makes this a
Potentially.
2v1. Zable's gonna get locked out. The cease and desist finally coming out. The follow up is through. Zable's gonna fall. Mothra
Okay.
found one. Paladin Logan is the next target from those assaulted batteries. He's getting locked down, beaten up in the alley, abused, and falls. That's a double kill for Mothra. Jesterology might be the next target, but there's no follow up. Need to be careful if you're Subway Pizza Rats.
Yeah, Annie blowing everything that she had there. As far as her spells and stuff, getting a little low on mana, but this should be Subway Pizza Rat's free dragon. You know, you're getting into the mid game. You have the double dragon. You're feeling good about yourself. The Pantheon is not damagey enough to take out somebody that he catches out. So they're gonna have to find a way to make it 2v1, make it 3v2, however they can. Endless Noid is going to have to start just piling on bodies if they want to start taking down these targets.
Yeah, they really do need to worry about it, and this might be seen as a desperation Otacon here. Ajman's able starting it up. The rotations are coming through a little too late. They have to call it off. Mothra knew about it, but was cool and collected on that red buff.
Yeah, I mean, you just know there's only two there. They're not going to be able to take that. If it even comes down, you'll have the time to finish that out. So I like the fact that he didn't just like leave his camps and give up on his own pacing and tempo there.
Yeah, I do kind of I like it there, and we can check in a little bit on this gold advantage. It's still back to those soul lanes, but it's now starting to increase a little bit. It's 1,000 total, and where that's really being made up is it's just Azir if you're an endless, if you're a Noid head here like I am. It's just Azir. You're looking at this 4-0 Azir to really carry this game. Paladin is going to find that first dredge line there onto Major Crockett, but that is the hostile takeover. It makes him last for so long, and the bear, Boosted Sandwich found one, but the bear coming through in the end. Emperor's Divide there, knocking Mothra back into Ajma. He's in the back line. Zabel is getting cut down by Mundo. Mike is putting in a lot of work there on this. The push, the push, the push isn't enough. Ajma gonna fall down. Zaldrez found Ajma there in that back line. Boosted Sandwich is falling. There's no one to peel. There's no one to stop him. Halcyon finished him off, but it's the Mundo. It's Subway Pizza Rats claiming another fight, and most likely this Otacon.
And this is Mike on the Mundo doing what I said the Renekton was gonna do. Renekton tried, but there was just too much lockdown for him. He just couldn't stick long enough. Mike on the Mundo able to just sit in the back line, take on three guys at once. Just sit in there and just create chaos. Jesterology on the Azir was doing a ton of damage, but once the Renekton fell, he couldn't stay there anymore. Zabel looking to potentially steal this.
He wants to steal, but he can't quite get in there. Mike's gonna find him. It's
Oh,
still up to a smite fight. Zaldras gonna fall. 20 HP. It's still claimed by red team. Subway Pizza Rats found it. They found Zaldratus too. No shutdown claim, but double kill found by Mike. The pizza, the rats are in a great spot right now.
yeah, and they just keep finding ways to be more effective with their 3v2s and the 2v1s. Zabel going for the hero play there. I respect it. But just kind of gives his life up, and then Renata Jungle ends up taking out the Otacon there as Mothra showed up just a little bit late. Good coin flip, but just didn't go your way that time.
Yeah, he got so close, but he doesn't have as much HP as he really needs to work with. Doesn't even have his tier 2 boots as like some extra form of stats. He's really trying to rush those items down as fast as possible. And speaking of as fast as possible, it's Mundo in the side lane, ready to abuse this TP advantage that the Pizza Rats have.
Yeah, we got a couple of minutes before Baron, so I think now it's just push the waves, see if we can find a pick or something, just to keep the lead going. You're in a really good spot here. Halcyon may be overcommitting a little bit, but it does seem like Endless Noid is now starting to get a little apprehensive about maybe pushing those engage buttons. They're on the back heels right now.
Yeah, they really are having to wait, and they don't quite have the damage of the double Black Cleaver now coming through from the Endless Noids. Is there really any issue with that this game, fell, or do you think it's okay?
Oh, what was that?
The double Black Cleaver, both Senna and Renekton
Um,
have Black Cleaver.
I think I mean, it's kind of a staple on a lot of. I mean, that was like a patch ago or two that the Black Cleaver kind of went away for Senna. I would have rather seen maybe a rapid fire cannon or even some sort of like other crit build on that since the Renekton has it. But if you're going to be skirmishing, if you're going to have the Renekton on the side lane dealing with the Mundo, and then it's going to be 4v4, I don't have an issue with it. Black Cleaver is still going to shred, still going to, stack it. The problem is the follow-up damage is either going to be Pantheon or yourself. So with the Renekton having it and being in the side lane, I don't know if it's that effective, but we'll see as it goes.
It still gives you some stats to work with, gives you a little bit of that
Mhm.
movement speed, so you can run away from the Mundo,
Or
and
chase down.
really, yeah, it's not the worst. And I'm defending it in chat, but like what I see Renekton here doing with this Conqueror is their goal is just to kind of be a body to stop divers. You dive backline, Mundo does backline, and whoever really kills the other diver wins the fight. And this is a Baron call so far. There's no vision, but there's all the knowledge. That's a Pizza Rat's need. That's 3,000 gold. That's the Mundo running in first. He's moving where he needs to be. Paladin Logan doesn't quite want to pull that trigger quite yet. He's actually using it defensively. Can't get out of here. The
Send it
Nautilus is too
down.
slow. It's a Heartsteel stack +1. Gonna get locked down. That's the just the shield going down, but Mothra using that cease and desist, not even the cease and desist, that was just assault and battery. That's just a huge. Zelda found Zabel in that backline. That's a big chunk out.
Yeah, and this is Annie not even having to be a part of the fight and just sit there in the back line and just be a threat of the of this of coming in from the side. And so that 4v4 and Mundo just being so good at just chasing down, I feel like once his passive was broken, maybe Paladin Logan should have threw out the ult from Nautilus to just sort of stop it, but a little late, gets punished for it, and now they get a free dragon, and then they get to go right back up to start another Baron fight.
If they know, they do have pings under
They
it, so
did
it looks
ping
like,
it.
yeah, they've got an idea on it, but the Noids have started this up. They're losing a lot of HP on this already, and you can see Booster Sandwich has no mana on this Senna, so there's not a lot of damage to work with, so it's just get in and get out and hope you can make it. Mothra's going to get locked down.
They
That's a
do.
good Baron sneak here
And
found
now the
by the
follow
Noids,
up.
but
Oh,
Boosted
CC.
Sandwich has been caught by the cease and desist. Paladin Logan might be the sacrificial lamb. Mothra's going to try and kill on the bottom side of your screen there. That's too fun. The bot lane from Noids are going to fall. It's about the heist. Can the Noids make it out of here? Looks like they're going to be able to make it out. So a good Baron? What's it like to you?
Uh, I mean, now you're just trying to turtle and stack. You're trying to turtle, you're trying to scale, you're trying to get the Senna a couple more stacks to where she can do some more damage. And I think that that's the desperation Baron that will help them with their wave clear, will help them just sit back and get to where they want to be, which is in the late game, uh, and able to just sort of stave off this Subway Pizza Rats onslaught. And I think the Baron is going to help that. They only have it on 3, so we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, the Baron is going to help you slow the push, but I mean, look at Mudo. We're gonna watch this demolish Brock here in about 2 seconds. Never mind. He's a little too scared of Ajma and Paladin Logan. Doesn't want to get caught up under the tower. Smart. Just gonna wait. Just gonna make sure everything dotting your T's and cross. I hate this. I hate that saying. I mess it up every time because it's crossing your T's and dotting your I's. I
Mm-hmm.
mess it up every time.
Yeah. Adages be damned. It's this is looking really good for Subway Pizza Rats. I do think that the scale of the draft comp being easy uh, to pull off for Endless Noid is now starting to just wane away a little bit, and they're gonna have to find a way to just, like we said, slow it down, and then maybe find picks. Maybe somebody oversteps. Maybe somebody makes a mistake. But Subway Pizza Rats haven't done that yet, so we'll see going forward if they do, if they overcommit, if they try to push an advantage too much. But as of right now, Zaldratis on the Annie has just been absolutely insane with the side plays and coming in.
Is the bear. You like
It,
you're a big
it is
Tibbers
the
fan too?
bear.
The game I always call it when I talk to people is you play the game of rock paper bear. And a lot of times Annie has the bear just like that. It's
What a
found
point.
Zabel. He's gonna try and flash out of there. Making his way out of there. Depth charge, not depth charge. That's the dredge line from Paladin Logan, just saving his jungler, but he's still gonna fall. No depth charge found. It's just a dead Nautilus in the flash
Oh,
there. Gestureology's caught under the
oh,
tower. Zabel can't move there. Emperor's Divide to slow down the play. Zabel's under the tower. He locked down Mothra, but Mothra has so much HP to work with. There's a tower
nope.
shot. Cohen! Shut down found from Gestureology. Ajma in that bot lane with the Baron.
Yeah, this is what we're saying, right? I just said it. When they go for the overextension, when they overplay their hand, are they going to be able to capitalize it? And as of right now, Endless Noid is, but Mike is so strong on this Mundo.
He's so strong. You can see it in this side lane. He's got all the items Ajma does to counter him. He's trying. He's going to find it. That's a stun. That's the lockdown. That's Mike. Not quite going to fall. So close. 1v1. Going to fall. Ajma, one more auto. He's not going to find it. Mike on a rampage on this Mundo. He found the 1v1 on the side lane. Lost that top bot tier 2, though.
Yeah, the Mundo pick really paying dividends here. Uh, insane. They do lose the tower. They do get the advantage with the shutdown on the Vi. Uh, but how are they going to push this from here? Is it just going back to let them make mistakes, let them come to us, and just play our game of chill, wait, and scale? And that's Endless Noid's strategy. That's what it should be right now. And as of right now, they're just kind of playing it. And the Renekton being able to push away from the action is working out in their favor.
They've cut down this gold lead to about 2,000 gold. They were about like 3.5, 4,000 at the height of this gold disadvantage that Endless Noid was in. That Baron helped a lot. It stemmed the bleeding, but it's still so hard for them to walk in these spaces. Look at where Zoltratus is. Look at Paladin Logan. He has to check these spaces on his own. Crockett's not going to find the slow on that shield, and the Noids are trying to find this crab. They want the vision. It's going to
Oh,
get found. I didn't quite see who got it
red side, Subway
by
Pizza, got it.
Pizza Rats. They found it. They got all the vision they want. Still gonna get cleared there. Five, man, this is the 5v5 that we're waiting for. It's pretty close in gold, but it's that bear I feel like is the X factor that you're looking for Subway Pizza Rats.
Yeah, and this is Subway Pizza Rats just kind of flexing their muscles now. They should be able to get out in front of this and get control on the dragon, push off Endless Noid, and just take it away from Zabel, and then just make him have to make a hero play. And if he does end up stealing it, what do you do then? Oh, never mind, they're pulling the trigger
Oh,
onto this Nautilus.
yeah, they found the Nautilus, and Paladin Logan's just trying to run away. That's the Heartsteel stack. That's a stun. Found a Chesterology. That's your carry. Endless Noid have been caught and routed. That's a flash out from the Nautilus. Nowhere to go. Zabel has to go for a miracle steal on this dragon. They have no way to get over this pit. They've got this bush locked down, but that Mundo is so scary. Is he gonna ult into pit? He wants to ult into pit. He's gonna try and find it. That's the Dawning Shadow. It's trying to give him so much more tank, but the cease and desist is enough. He's not gonna be able to get into there. Halcyon is on a rampage. Found Zabel in that pit. There's nowhere for you to go. No steal to be found. That's soul for the Subway Pizza Rats.
Yeah, it never feels good when you're sitting on on your heels and you're just trying to make hero play after hero play. This is not a good spot for Endless Noid to be in. They wanted to be in control of this game. They wanted to be the ones making the picks. They wanted the skirmish. And right now, Subway Pizza Rats is outdoing them in every single category that Endless Noid wants to excel in.
Yeah, they just have, they're so confident in this team fight. They're so willing to just pull the trigger. They're able to also just stand back. It's that, I feel like it's that double melee. It's how tanky this Vi has really effectively become with that Sundered Sky, with that Cleaver, with that Trinity Force, with that HP. There's not really a way for you as Endless Noid to break through a front line.
No, not yet. Anyways, with Jesterology starting to get his items in there, Mundo may be overstepping here.
He might be overstepping. He might just be causing a fight. Ajma's caught down. Dominance not enough. Mothra has been found. Not a lot more to look for besides the Baron. Eldratus, though, is kind of hungry. Mike is a lot more hungrier. He's going where he pleases with that ghost. Oh, that's Zapel. What are you doing there?
Yeah, this
Halcyon
game caught
is
out
going
now.
unstoppable and dead.
I think at
Oh,
this point,
Phantom's Snapchat.
yeah, I
I just
think at this
feel like
point you're just looking at what are we gonna do for next game to fix this? What did we mess up? This is the time for you to start thinking. I can only imagine that the communication on the side of Endless Noid is probably pretty low. One more fight, and I think this game is over.
one more fight 100%, but that doesn't mean that they're out. It's just 5,000, 6,000 turning into gold in favor of the Subway Pizza Rats, and you're running out of stuff to give. You're running out of space to run back to scale, and you're looking to your center, you're looking to your Azir, and I don't know. Do you think they can scale into this game, Fel, or is it like a next game angle talk about the draft?
This is the next game angle. Like I said, with Zabel being caught out there completely away from the fight, everything else going that way, it just seems like the communication probably broke down. They're just sort of like I don't know what we do as they're gonna get caught out here too. Yep,
Yeah, they're
Zaldratis.
caught out again. Zeldratus found Gesturology there on the bot side of the fight. He's trying to continue. That's the Emperor's Divide. Just to slow down the fight. Zeldratus with a beautiful stopwatch. Not eat the damage. Shutdown claim, though, first and foremost. That's a
Oh,
steal
hero!
from Zabel. A hero steal in the backline. He's still going to fall into that cease and desist. Paladin Logan going to fall there. Mike is pushing on the Mundo once again. It's a beautiful steal, but it might still be the game. There's no one to clear these waves for Endless Noid.
Uh, oh man, good steal, but just too much burnt off on the side of Endless Noid. They didn't get out, and now there's only three versus the four. Mundo is still alive, full health, with ult, like ready to go. Just yeah, they're just gonna power this down unless Mothra.
Oh, Mothra is caught out. That's the Ignite. He's taken one more found
Oh,
from Ajima. He's able to claim this. The fight is going to continue to go. There's no Emperor's Divide to continue this, but that's the tower. That's the passive. Ajima's going to find. That's the bailout. Halcyon needs to rush. He's not able to find it. Shutdown claimed by Gesturology. Under the tower. Mike going to fall. One more. Double kill claimed by Gesturology. Endless Noid have pulled this out of their hat.
yeah, but this is one of those moments where you're gonna look back and be like, "Why did we do this?" Like we had all the momentum and we just overstepped, and Endless Noid of able to take advantage of it. That should not happen when you're this far ahead. You got the Baron, or you stopped two of them on the Baron. Just reset, just go back to the next objective. But instead, they try to end it early. I guess I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking there.
No, I guess they were really trying to push, but that's Endless Noid once again back here. They found that tower. They've got the Baron off that steal too. So this is turning really detrimental. That's actually a gold swing. Look at that. 6,000 gold. What, a minute and a half ago? Just immediately swung. It's back to even, but that Soul still putting in a lot of work here for the Subway Pizza Rats.
Yeah, the good news if you're Subway Pizza Rats, all the gold kind of is put up in Gesturology with the 10 kills. So
Oh.
avoid him and you can win, but oh no,
Oh, it's a
this is looking
Deathbush
good.
Crockett. You don't want to get caught, and he's found, stunned, locked down, no bailout, nowhere to go. The assault and battery used to get out of there. That's the pick that you're looking for. It, Boosted Sandwich found that, not quite found the root, but that's the Emperor's Divide into Mothra. The season just is not enough. That's a stunt, not a stun from Zabel. I was expecting a little bit more of a dive from them there, but they've got these minions. They've got a
Next
way to
coming in
get
on the
under
outside
this
though.
tower. Mundo is on this flank, but he needs to act as this front line. There's nowhere for Vi to go. There's no Vi here to stop it. Zeldratus still has the bear, still has a way to slow down this push if you're Subway Pizza Rats, but you need to do it soon. You don't want to let this hit. You need to land a little bit more poke, though, from Halcyon, adding up a lot. Boosted Sandwich getting chucked down really low. That's the bear. It's found on Gesturology. He's getting quite low. Mike putting in a lot of work here in the front line. Paladin Logan getting the light quite low, but Mike just going to fall, not quite under his tower. Halcyon is, in the meantime, falling. Gesturology found it, dominating. Double kill claimed in the meantime in the grave for Halcyon. The tower is going to fall. A beautiful cleaver into the face. Gesturology going to fall alongside, thanks to Crockett and Mike. A beautiful defense from the Pizza Rats. Logan going to get locked down once more. He's going to fall. There's nowhere for this Nautilus to go.
At the same time, Zaldratis in the base, taking it out. Are they go? They're going almost for a base rush here. Uh, they do end up letting Boosted Sandwich back. He might be able to kill this Annie if he catches him, but yeah, just overstayed again, and
Zoldratus gonna get that stun, but there's no bear. The bear's almost there. It's there! It's found! Tibbers with the ace! Zoldratus was able to claim that final kill. The death timer, 7 seconds, 6 seconds on this Pantheon. It's quite low. The tower's not going to respawn in time. I don't know if you can rush this down. You really got to use that bear. You got to dance around it. You got to get somewhere, and there's nowhere safe to be. Zabel's going to find it, but that's Elder being worked on by the Pizza Rats.
yeah, at this point, just back off. The rest of your team is at Elder. He should have just gotten that tower, walked away, left an open base. But decisions aren't always made the best of ways. But I think this does at least put Subway Pizza Rats. I mean, the gold is basically even at this point. Um, they still have the tempo, they still have the open nexus, they still have uh, a lot of tools to be able to take this down. I think it's just going to come down to the execution, maybe a good flank from either Gesturology or the Annie. coming in. It's gonna the next fight. I know we've said it twice already. The next fight should decide the fate of this game.
It's really on this next fight. Both teams on the edge. No one really wants to make the mistake here. And I'm looking at those summoners. I'm looking at Paladin Logan missing that flash. I'm looking at Gesturology not going to quite have it. Might have it in time. But if you're the Pizza Rats, maybe you got that time. Maybe you want to abuse that. Maybe you want to abuse those TPs too.
Yeah, I mean, you just keep this here. You just wait out the Elder Dragon timer. You may end up having to concede the Baron. Um, it all depends, but you definitely don't want to fall here. You don't want to let them just have it because of the Elder Dragon. And we'll see. They do have a blue ward on the Senna to check this bush before going into the Baron, so they don't make the same mistake that Major Crockett made over on the blue side.
Not yet, but that's also Annie showed on that side. They know Annie's top side. They don't quite know if she's running over yet. So maybe for Endless Noid, maybe you're getting a little antsier seeing oh, maybe it's a 5v4. We can maybe take it, but I respect them. They're not going for that Elder. They don't want to fall for this. And I also like ideally, I like what the Pizza Rats are doing here. They're setting this death bush. They're setting this trap. Let them get comfortable. Let the question marks start coming. Paladin Logan's quite close to that bush, and he is going to get found,
Oh,
claimed,
no.
desisted, and gone. The Elder found one. Gesturology on the run, and everyone, the Noids, are scrambling. They're trying to find somewhere to go. It's just one pick, but that's a Baron found.
As 100% a Baron, and that's also like you put the blue ward on the Baron pit instead of the Death Bush. Like, how many times do we see Mothra's teams use the Death Bush as a way to just secure an objective over the years? And like they do it again and again, and it happens here. And now this could spell the end for Endless Noid. It's going to depend if he's able to make another hero steal.
He's got to look for that steal. He's not going to find it. It's claimed. He's coming through
Right there.
way too late. He's going to have to flash over that pit. Now it's the resets coming. The Noids are scrambling to get those defenses through. Halcyon
Flashing
realizes
right
he's trying
now.
to stop those backs. They found Ajma first. The one reset stopped. It's only Zabel on that back timer, and Ajma is just going to be able to make their way out of here. Zeldra's actually on a flank. Flash is used. Mothra's going to be found. The bear is
Oh,
found. It's found. Boosted. He's gone. Emperor Survived was not really found yet. Gesturology just gone. Mothra found him. He's beautiful. He's looking awesome on this Vi. Cleaned up two of the Noids. The hook is found. Paladin Logan look for this re-engage in the tower. They believe it's enough, but Mundo does not care at all. He's moving where he pleases.
Yeah, that was such a good flash ult. Probably a pixel away from missing by Zaldratis. What a great bear drop. And they just get to keep pressing this, just keep taking everything away from Zabel, moving in, keep the tempo up. They're going to be coming down mid with the Baron. The Elder Dragon is off now, but it doesn't matter. Subway Pizza Rats just in control of this one, especially with Boosted and Gesturology down for 20 seconds.
Really gotta wait. You gotta make some sort of a play here if you're the Noids. You're maybe waiting those 5-second death timers, but the towers have respawned. They're gone. The stun's gonna be found onto Mothra, but he's so tanky. That's Paladin Logan falling. Ajma's in there, but he's not tanky. It's been outscaled. It's been written. The Noids are falling. The base is open. The Dawning Shadow not enough. The Nexus is falling. Game one claimed by the Pizza Rats.
Yeah, that surprised me. I really thought the comp was going to be a lot easier to pull off for the Endless Noids, but yeah, just goes to show. I think that especially early on, way too much time spent at the top lane to try to get Renekton ahead. It didn't work out. Not having TP on your top laner basically made it so that after he got that tier 2 in the bot side, Mike was able to come in and just basically quell the advantage that he got there. Well played by both teams. Decision making for both of them. I'm sure they're going to want to talk about it in the post game before the next lobby.
Yeah, and that next lobby is pretty soon here. I want to highlight specifically a little like Mike put in so much work on this Mundo, and I feel like I gave a ton of laurels to Zaldratis and Mothra there, but Halcyon put so much work there on that Corki, making sure that Boosted Sandwich was just not able to scale at all. And it's really going to be that key matchup. I feel like going into game two is going to be either, hey, can we as junglers make some sort of craziness happen? But I do agree, Mike MVP game one, the push was too strong, but
Hmm.
everyone from the Pizza Racks looked so clean here. And I don't know about you, Fel. I gotta take a breather going into next game. And
Oh,
And that means we gotta go to a short little break, y'all. Don't go anywhere, but we will be right back, I swear. gotta count me down. Are we live? Welcome back, everybody. Game two, an exhilarating and a long game one there between the Subway Pizza Rats and Endless Noid here. As we can see, Subway Pizza Rats with the
The
with
win.
the win don't get to choose their side, but Endless Noid are able to pick red side. So, Fel, real quick before we talk about some of these picks that we're seeing on our screen here, as we can transition just over and see the draft, what do you think Endless Noid needs to adjust here going into game two?
The biggest thing I think they needed to address was obviously the Mundo top, and then the other side is getting Mothra potentially off his comfort pick of Vi. But instead they opt for the Amumu. We do know he's known for a good Amumu here, and then maybe instead of trying to put all their eggs in the Justerology basket, put it into the bot lane. Uh, get a hyper carry that can go, as we're seeing they're hovering the Jinx right now. Um, it, yeah, I think maybe getting something a little bit more team fighty, a little bit more front to back might be a little bit better.
Yeah, and it looks like they are opting into that with the Jinx Braum, but something that these teams, that at least when I talked to them beforehand and really kind of discussed, was just the Senna. Both teams were very, very big on Senna priority as they found that it enabled their AD carries to play really aggressive, scale really well, also have decent early game utility and damage through the root, plus the slow from the Senna Q. So you're seeing Zoe Buterats very, very quickly prioritize that. And that Nautilus that a lot of people believe is a lot better is going to be with it, and the pick is just going to get missed. It looks like it might have supposed to have been Vi. I don't like when people miss picks like this, so we're gonna have to get a little bit of a word exactly what that pick was supposed to be here
Yeah,
from
well,
production.
yeah, production will find that out pretty soon. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much I like as as a Senna. I don't know if I like having the Nautilus. One thing that I will say is that I noticed in the last game is that the Nautilus was very hesitant to throw out hooks and try to come up with trades. You have a Senna, you have sustain. Throw the hook, get in on top of the Renata that's just like standing like outwards, like in a bush. Um, okay, so we do know it is a Thresh, so it is a Thresh Senna. Hopefully, we'll see more hooks and some more action. Yeah, I feel like last game the bot lane over on Endless Noise just sort of let Subway Pizza Rats just kind of do what they wanted with the Corki and Renata instead of trying to skirmish and fight and then use your own sustain to stay in the lane after if it doesn't work out.
And I didn't mind them specifically with how they played it because you can opt into a very like passive and just slow style of play, but you do need to be ready then the second that the game does kind of get into its groove and everyone's fighting. You need to be there, you need to be pumping damage. And I just really didn't see enough of what I'm expecting from a Senna here. So Subway Pizza Rats have a lot of room here to improve on the Senna outlook from what it seems
Yeah,
like going to be the rest of the day.
yeah, and they do, and it can work. The problem is, I think, in their draft comp, you have the Renekton wants to fight early, you have the Pantheon wants to go in and fight early. Senna wants to sit back and stack, bro. Like, just let her stack. And if she's not being aggressive in the bot lane and stacking that way, she didn't really have a way to really get too far ahead. Corky just kept the damage up throughout the entire time, and then Jesterology, the Azir, they put all their eggs in his basket early. And although he did a lot of damage and was very effective, it just wasn't enough because there just wasn't enough follow up damage.
Yeah, and follow-up damage seems to be a little bit of the name of the game from Endless Noid here, but Subway Pizza Rats very
Mm.
sold on exactly what they're going here. The Volibear and the Swain, two quick lock-ins. They're just gonna be a Volibear top, I assume, and a Swain mid, so lots of consistent, lots of shorter range damage, to be honest, when you're comparing it to a Sen and a
Mm.
Thresh. But really good follow up once again from the Pizza Rats. Lots of damage and Endless Noid locking in that Lissandra last pick. They're ready to fight, they're ready to brawl, and they're ready to have as much lockdown as possible.
Yeah, once I saw the Swain, I actually liked the Ari in there. Lissandra wants to get in. Now you basically have four short range champs against a Swain with the lockdown of the Volley and the Vi. I I really maybe this is Caster's curse, but I really like Subway Pizza Rats here. I think that they have a very good identity that they want to use, that they want to go with. Tons of CC. All five of their champions do really, really good CC. Lockdown, easy to pull off. Endless Noid, more of a protect the president kind of comp. Lockdown from Lissandra and Jinx to follow up. If the Jinx can get a kill or two at the beginning of these fights, can run roughshot over the entire comp, but this is a very, very tanky team on the side of SPR. I love it.
I like it too, and that range could become an issue if Endless Noid really played and drafted around it, but they also opted into some pretty short range stuff. Braum is going to be in that Swain ultimate. Maokai is going to be in that Swain ultimate. Lissandra is going to be in that Swain ultimate. Jinx is just barely going to be outside of it. And if she wants to walk forward for non rocket autos in late game, she'll be inside of it. So I do really like what the Pizza Rats have going on here. But I mean, it's going to be back to that top lane. That York is always an X factor. It's something that Ajma is very comfortable on, and Volibear also something Mike is very comfortable on. And we saw how two comforts clashed in the top lane last game, and it was a pretty solid brawl. So any sort of expectations here going into this game two between these top laners?
I think that it's going to be more of an island this time, or potentially Mothra being the one that's trying to force the issue against the Yorick and get the Maokai a little bit of a breathing room, if you will. I think that more than likely, though, it might be an island. I can see Zabel and Mothra both trying to uh, get their mid laners ahead, get their bot lane ahead, and just try to basically flip the script. Last game, it was all about top lane in the early game, and then bot lane sort of became a thing while Jesterology just, got a huge advantage in mid. But I think this time it's going to be more bot lane focused. And yeah,
I think another thing that we really have to watch out for is if Jinx and Braum aren't able to get any early kills against Senna Thresh. That's what the blank spot is. Just a little reminder because I forgot and I had to look at it for a second. Um, th- if you can't get any kills, you really do as Jinx need to buy call because you need to find some way to get accelerated. You need to find some sort of an advantage over Senna, and I think most likely that's going to come through farm.
yeah. I don't know. I feel like Jinx is one of those that even if you're a half an item behind, if you get a kill, the stats and the speed that you get from your passive just can take over a fight. She will be at long range. Everybody else in Subway Pizza Rats doesn't really have a way to get to her, as long as she doesn't get hit by the the Thresh hook. And then if Vi has to overcommit and you have Braum there for protection, I really like this Jinx pick. I think it's easy to pull off. And I think that just the skirmishes that we've been seeing, because these teams like to fight, really favors Endless Noid. I just think that Subway Pizza Rats with the Swain, with the Volibear in the top lane, have a better comp, especially into what they picked. But we'll see what ends up happening.
We need to really see what ends up happening here. Another spot that I really do want to talk about is where we saw a lot of action happening was jungle, specifically lots of invades, lots of fighting, and Vi and Maokai. This will be the last thing we really go over before we get into our predictions here. The Vi and the Maokai matchup. Um, Pretty interesting to see something we traditionally see in professional play. You mentioned don't give Mothra that Vi on the Pizza Rats. They got the Vi. Do you think Maokai is the answer to that?
Potentially. I mean, you have long range engage or disengage. Once again, another champion that's going to be really good at keeping the Jinx protected. I think that they have an identity here of, maybe locking down a champion or two that overcommits on Subway Pizza Rats with the Lissandra, with the Maokai, and then allowing Yorick to just 4v4. Volibear is going to have to be there. He's not going to be able to just team fight like he did last time all the time. Yorick will put a lot more pressure on Mike to stay with him and then potentially, run away with it if he gets ahead, if he's left alone. But I don't see Mothra really trying to shut that down early.
It's going to be really hard to get onto this York early. The baby cage, as I like to call it, is pretty hard to deal with for almost any jungler. Vi to be one of the better ones because you have an auto
Mhm.
reset to kill it. But you mentioned you like Subway Pizza Rat's draft. I'm gonna split it up this time. I like what Endless Noid can do, but it's a big like potential man. If you like the images of talking about people like traditional sports athletes, it's like it's the big potential man coming through here, and that's really what I'm seeing from Endless Noid. It can be good, and it can um, it just find effect, but it's going to be a lot of work onto Jinx, and Boosted needs to step up in this game in order to make that happen. But we've still got a little bit more on that spec delay to go. Gonna wait for that. Gonna make sure we get everything situated before this game goes. Just game starts. So don't go anywhere. We're gonna have to a quick little break, and we'll see you real soon. And we are back. Game two between the Endless Noid and the Subway Pizza Rats. Here, no invade. Shockingly enough, Endless Noid didn't like what happened last game. Definitely just going to go for that 5 point. Don't want to deal with the Thresh Hook. Even though they've got that Braum, I feel like they've got a good level 1 here.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised. I don't think that it went poorly. I don't think it went well for either side. I don't think either side would have been upset with how that went out. They both kind of caught each other, didn't get what they wanted. But here's a slight invade, probably just getting a ward down, no follow up. Yeah.
Yeah, just ward, just some information. Just gonna try and force a little bit of a reset, but I don't think even Maokai needs to because of that passive. So he's perfectly happy just doing this. But still, wards and information is always really important at this level 1. It's one of the big adaptations we've seen in a lot of players' games at any skill bracket. Is these Raptor wards just gives you something to work with, gives you a way to see if junglers are starting. Oh, I forgot something to talk about. Miko, you're gonna hit escape and you're turn on your music in the game. Sound, yeah, and just unmute your music. Sure, that works. Perfect. It just adds something. That works. That works. Yeah, sure. Whatever. Um, all good, and just nothing gonna nothing gonna happen from either of these teams. To be honest, both are just gonna get through their first clears. Ultra still getting quite low. Why are you trading auto the auto with a champion like Lissandra? Hook gonna land on to boost his sandwich. Hopefully, as annoyed, that's not gonna continue going on any further.
Yeah, interesting from Zaldratis to be up there taking the extra minion damage and stuff, but he will end up, yep, landing, once he lands his E's and he lands his W's, he will be able to sustain off of that. Also, probably trying to get the Conqueror procs to keep himself healthy.
Yeah, and the you get a little bit of a heal on those pulls and those stacks just every time you
Mhm.
grab when you get like 40 or so HP, and every little bit helps, especially when you get that low on your first level 1 trade. But nothing else crazy happening. Never mind, that's a Maokai in Sejuani's red side.
Yeah,
Um,
the invade
very early.
disable.
Zabel really likes these invades. He's very happy to do these, and he's gonna just make off like a bandit and just spot out this said Vi and laugh on the way through.
Yeah, and this is something that's infuriating as a jungler. You know, you show up and it's already gone. It's like, well, he didn't take my Raptors. He didn't take my Gromp. Like, did he literally just come over and grab this? And yes, he did. He's going to be a little bit behind, but he will be able to get the triple buff stack off of that. So, a big, small but big win mentally for Zabel early on here.
It just helps your sustain a lot. It helps your early ganks because Vi kind of struggles a little bit with being sticky early in that red buff. Is the little bit extra that you're looking for. Mid lane getting a little more in favor of that Swain and sustain, adding up. The farm, of course, still an advantage of this Lissandra, but nothing else really too big.
Right, yeah, I
Am I
mean, she
crazy?
can
Are those
just
ping
sit there
loud?
and
Ah,
machine
whatever. We'll
gun
do
her
them.
spells out. Uh, and so it's easy for her to do that. Does look like they were gonna have a fight here, potentially.
Yeah, and that's the twisted advance just to lock down Mike in the throwing him back. Nothing to be found. Zabel doesn't want to early fight as the Maokai. You don't have the damage to work with it yet. You don't have the AP, and that Volibear is on the complete opposite end and is very happy to fight.
Hmm. Yeah, and another thing too is that we know that Lissandra wanted to back there. She doesn't get to back. You're basically creating a very good lane situation for your Swain because that's where
Oh,
he wants
Mothra.
to be. As we see Mothra invading
Mothra.
now.
Yeah, he found that invade isn't going to get the snipe on that, or steal, my bad. It's like a snipe on that red buff. So just going to walk their way out of there. Got the good poke, though. Zabel isn't forced to reset because of how much sustain Maokai has, but Mothra has the information, has the knowledge, and still just going to skulk around in this red side while they're waiting for the camps to respawn.
Right, and unfortunately for him, you know, the Yorick has to back. He's out of mana. He's already ready to, you know, go and get a couple items so that he can maybe damage the Volibear a little bit better. He has the wave tempo where he wants it, so we know Voli can't come in. So unfortunate that you know Voli's lane was pushed, but they really can't get anything out of that invade.
Yeah, all you're really getting is vision. You're just kind of burning a little bit of time. You can see Vi wanted the reset anyway, and is able to pick up those faded ashes. One of the better items you can buy on this first back as a jungler really helps you just speed up your clear, get through these camps faster. But that also means you're a squishy Maokai early.
Right. Yeah. Call me a boomer. Get the bomby cinder. Come on, man. I don't really like the faded ashes or the Leandri's first purchase. I know you want to be able to do damage and stuff, but you know, you're here to protect your Jinx and to set up your Lissandra. At least that's the way that I would see this. But you know, we'll see how it ends up going for him. If that ends up turning into some free kills uh for the Subway Pizza Rats when the first fights really start to get going.
And those first fights still quite a long ways away. Yes, Dragon is up, but that's really going to be more about the priority around bot lane, priority around mid lane. Jester actually getting quite low. Zoldratus doing a lot of work on this Swain.
Yeah,
Just putting so
that's
much
a
work, man.
yeah, that's a fun little pocket pick for him that I don't think that we even saw the last seasons that he had played.
Oh,
Oh,
he's locked down. That's the ult. It's not enough. The flash forward, beautiful on the pop. The demonic ascension, not enough. So Stable gonna find that first blood. No bonus gold, but a lot of a swing towards the Lissandra on top of that farm.
it's the Faded Ashes damage. Call me wrong again.
It's those pings. I dropped pings by a little bit. Still, yeah, that one. Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much. And it puts you in a really weird spot if you're Mothra here because your Swain's still walking back. Yeah, you've got bot prio, but you're just going to be kind of lucky with how Gesturology has to reset. Zabel doesn't have the ability to contest because of bot lane. You're going to make a way with this first dragon, but it's 7:30 on those grubs, and those are spawning real soon, and you're going to have to contest real hard.
Right, and you have York pushing this top lane. Ooh, a fight's about to break down up bottom. Potentially.
Oh,
Yep, here it
that's not a
comes.
fight. That's a
That's a
massacre.
full brawl.
Paladin Logan is not supposed to be there
Where's
at
it
all.
from?
The shield is not enough. There's nothing unbreakable about him. I don't quite know exactly what he's doing there because they already know he's taking that dragon.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of knew it. That's just a bad decision made. But the worst part of it is the flash burn. Like you now are down a summoner. You died anyways. You were going to die, no matter what. There, I would have just saved it. But we'll see if it ends up hurting them in the end. As Halcyon wants to go aggro onto boosted.
Ooh, boosted with
Good
some
foot,
good
yeah,
fancy
good,
footwork.
yeah.
Beautiful. Using that zap just to guarantee they were out of there. Crockett ate a tower shot. It's traded back in damage by boosted, but really what that allows you is that confirms where Thresh is, that confirms that Paladin Logan can be on this roam here up into the grubs. They guarantee it even if a fight breaks out.
Yeah, and we're getting another potential handshake of buffs here, but it does look like Mike's coming down, wants to fight this, and Zabel showing up, or Mothra showing up to try to
Uh,
counteract this. Gets caught out by the
Nature's
Maokai ult. This is
Wrath?
just a lot
Yeah,
of CC.
that's a lot of CC found. I'm not quite sure. That was so the term that I always hear from like I will dominate is like that's such a dry kill where Mothra doesn't really fight back. He doesn't flash anything. He doesn't ult anything. He kind of just sits there and accepts it.
Right.
And technically, yeah, you're kind of supposed to do that because you're just dead anyway. But it just feels so bad to see it.
It does, but that's exactly what Paladin should have done earlier. But oh no, Mike getting caught out here by the York a little bit. Yeah, no, there's a clean play by Endless Noid to get the objective back after they lost the dragon from a little bit of an overreach from Zaldratis earlier. So taking advantage of this stuff, the footwork on
Yeah, the
boosted.
footwork's still enough, but the box actually gonna get flashed out. Paladin is here. Might
Oh,
just eat the death. The Dawning Shadow is eaten. Halcyon doesn't have the mana to continue the fight. And that's a Zabel back. Bot lane doesn't have the ultimate, but Major Crockett might check this bush a little too far. Paladin was selling it a little bit too much. Lands the winner's bite, just slowing down Crockett. Zap gonna do the same thing, but no more follow up. Mothra's here for 3v3 though.
yeah, just another a little bit too early, or actually a little bit too late on the Zabel to get in there, and yeah,
Oh,
they're gonna
that is a
follow.
lantern. That's a
Yep.
hook. The death sentence found. Zabel trying to get his way out of there, trying to peel out for his AD carry. Halcyon isn't the one to find him. Author did it with the red buff. And that's Halcyon continuing to fight on Zabel. Paladin Logan getting locked down. Cease and desist was used. Eldratus is back in the bot lane. He is here. He wants to cause a problem. Halcyon too low to continue on the fight. Major Crockett doesn't have the tools he needs. And that's just a good pick found. But I feel like Endless Noid cross-mapped as well.
They did. I mean, Azuma obviously is still getting the push, and then the rocket almost takes him out.
Well, the rocket was almost close enough. Paladin Logan's trying to run in there. The barrier's enough. It's more than enough. Gesturology back in the mid lane. Mothra is trying to use that not cease and desist. That's assault and battery, but he's under the
Yep.
tower again. Mothra falls. That's the twisted
But now what do
advance.
you
It's
do
more than
here?
enough. He's locked down. He's got the ult, the demonic ascension. He's ascended. He's trying to find Zabel. He has more than enough damage. Zabel gonna fall with the one more auto. Gesturology, it's up to you. You gotta find it. He's gonna land the root. That's more heals. Zeldratus has the conquer stacked. He's moving. He finds a double kill onto Endless Noid. Subway Pizza Rats have turned this game on its head.
Yeah, it's just a little bit too aggressive before going back and getting the other part of your Leandries. Just not tanky enough to deal with the Swain. Gesturology had already used his ult for safety. Just a little bit of a misplay, overstep, however you want to call it. But yeah, those things are bound to happen every once in a while.
Oversteps, overestimations is what it is. You never expect Swain to have that much
Mike going
HP.
back in.
And just like that, Ajima is trying to find this 1v1 into Mike, and it's more than enough. The shovel, the dirge. Ajima found his first solo kill there in this matchup. He's up farm, he's up a kill. He's in a much better spot this game.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about earlier. They'll leave him alone up top and let him do his thing. And Mothra's kind of doing the same thing. Instead of trying to press the advantage that Azuma would have, he just letting him go and getting plays around on the other sides of the map.
And it helps especially when it's just a 1v1, when your top laner is winning in isolation. You see him up farm, you see him up a kill. It just makes it so, it makes you breathe a sigh of relief. You're like, it's not the end of the world that we're losing bot. It's not great. The bot lane advantage is sizable to say the least. With a, why can't I remember that static shiv? They changed that items icon too much for me. Um, Static Shiv being finished up by Senna here. She's got the wave clear, but not necessarily the on-champion damage that you're looking for quite yet.
No, but being ahead on Senna in a lane, a kill and an assist and 30 CS
Oh,
feels great.
this is
Here
the
comes
Avengers have been called in. Halcyon's trying to use that Daunting Shadow, trying to live for a little bit longer. That's the Vi here. Not in time, though. Boost damage found one. He's reset. He's excited. Gesturology finished off one more. Just, it's a double kill found by Jinx. Found her
Oh,
way
and she
back
gets
in the game. The
gets the
farm
tap.
stuff. The zap was enough. It slowed Zoldratus, but there's no lockdown quite yet. That's a Rylai's completed by Zoldratus, but the flash forward,
Yep.
they're done with it. There's no demonic ascension. It's the
He
stun.
might
He's living for so much longer.
He
He
does.
found one. He's trying to find two. He's gonna get two right there. Zoldratus flashing forward. He's feeling himself. He found the third. Triple kill for the mid laner Subway Pizza Rats.
Huge play by the Swains. Aldratus on this champion just showing just insane awareness. The Rylai's was just enough. And then Endless Noise just overcommitting again onto a play that they didn't need to make. You got the kills on the Jinx. Like take your advantage. They're just having such a hard time taking their advantage and doing stuff with it.
And just like that, here's Zabel gonna find.
Ooh, gets it though.
He found the dragon beautifully, but Halcyon's gonna get another kill, get more of an advantage here on this Jinx. It's the last thing you want to see if you're Jinx. Ah man, we just got triple killed by Swain in a 1v3 and he had 100 HP and ugh. It's just
Yeah.
not looking good.
I mean, potentially, this could come into play later. That Zabel is now 3-0 in Smite battles with Mothra. He's definitely out jungling him around the objectives. So that could end up being something that maybe sticks in the back of your mind. I know, like, when I jungle, if I miss the first Smite battle, I'm probably missing all of them. So we'll see if he can, you know, recenter himself and get better with that.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, it's hard to outsmite your two games that you've had to outsmite as a Pantheon and a Maokai. So it's not exactly the easiest smiting in the world, but I do agree they need some kind of heal cut for the Swain, and soon they've stacked so well on it. The Conquerors put in so much work on the Swain. On top of the extra damage, the healing's really coming into play, and it's pushing Endless Noid into these corners already. They're back onto this Herald, and that's Gesturology getting caught out once again, just moving their way out of. No. I'm gonna get this. As Eye of Emperor, I'm looking this up. Swain lol. Back in the bot lane, that's a death sentence found. Major Crockett is really accurate on the Paladin Logan, but they're tanky, quite tanky on this Braum. Just walking their out of there. Back to the top lane here. That's a Herald. It's one more Smite fight found. Locked down. Cease and desist used by Mothra. It's still claimed by
Oh
Ajima. It's gonna
no!
find that Herald token, but they're gonna fall double kill for the side of Subway Pizza Rats, but they lost the objective.
They
Vision of
did,
the
and
Emperor.
count that as a 4-0 at this point. They get the kill on Zabel, you kill the jungler, you still lose it because the eye was exposed to the Yorick. Yorick still gets that down. It just feels bad to lose the objectives that way. This Senna is just poking. How many stacks is she at this point? Because she just seems to be outranging everything, including the Jinx cube. Yeah, she's at 63 with 16 minutes. That's that's NASA's numbers almost. Like it's just going to be so hard to deal with here, especially with the Swain sitting up front, just doing all the damage and holding off everybody on the outside.
Yeah, there's just so much in front of the Senna, and usually you then talk about, oh, there's the dive, there's the different angles that my Yorick and my Maokai and my Lissandra can come from. But when we're kind of taking a step back into this game, York needs to be in the side lane. They can't really TP unless they can get this major advantage. And you see Mothra's recognizing that. But back in the mid lane, Gestrology's found Zeldratus. That's a stun. It's a lot of lockdown. The Freljord champions are really good at this. The burn is enough. It might quite be Zeldratus. One more auto is going to claim the shutdown. Found by Zeldratus in the mid lane. Major Crockett on the wrong side of this fight. Maokai is here. Zabel is going to try and find that
That's
lockdown. The
gonna be a
stun found.
stone
That
if they
Winter's Bite
do.
was perfect. On to Major Crockett. He's going to get locked down. Death Sentence locks down the Braum. Not who you want to be if you're Major Crockett. And Halcyon lost their flash in that engagement too.
Yeah, and this is just like it's a huge momentum swing, and two completely unrelated plays that just play off of each other so well. Jesterology realizing that the Swain with the Rylai's and the Malignant's not yet completed, Swain just didn't have the mana to deal with that, and now you get the
Oh,
kills for the Jinx, you get the kill for the Lissandra, and now you get first turret. You're looking at a
oh.
potential boots play.
You look at a potential boots play, but that's also a rotation from the Swain back to the bot lane. Ashma is pushing it though, and that's a root. That's a lockdown onto boost it, but a beautiful unbreakable will. That's the shield from Braum blocking down this Swain pole to never move. I'm trying to remember all the
Yeah.
names now. I'm quizzing myself.
Yeah, yeah, he literally just stopped everything on that play. That should have been like two, maybe three kills for Subway Pizza Rats and the Braum. That was a perfect play by him. Very well done.
Now, Zeldratus has so much damage. Look at that burst from the Swain. It does a lot. The hand of Noxus is putting a lot of work here on this Lissandra. And that's Mike, once again, getting out of the baby cage. I don't learn what that actual cage is called. It's a baby cage. All those cages are babies.
Yeah, it's just like you forget what the Kaiser's ult is because you just say going to Brazil. It's very scrappy around in the mid lane. These two are just fighting each other nonstop. Um, Lissandra's doing a very good job at sort of uh, quelling the lead that Swain built in the early game. That was a 7-2 Swain that just died to a 4-2 Lissandra. So uh, potentially could be something that we need to look at if Swain starts to overcommit anymore. There is a ton of lockdown on the side of Endless Noid that can really take advantage of that.
Yeah, and you can see that's an Amp Tome. I'm expecting it to be that knockdown. Halcyon was found. They're trying to go. The flash forward. Zabel has found Halcyon. There's no way. There's no lantern that can save you. The tower isn't going to fall. Actually, finally
It does
falls.
fine.
Hajima claims it thanks to the Herald. The rotations come down to Dragon. Zabel lost their flash, lost a lot of HP. Who's Sandwich has been soloing this Dragon to make sure the tempo's right. Endless Noid have made a great play on the map.
Yeah, they
Safe
have,
fight.
and that's just you just keep sort of pressing it
Oh,
and doing what you need to.
oh,
But
Endless Noid. You might have overextended. Death sentence has been found. Gesterology has to ult themselves just to make it out of Lissandra. Isn't enough. Isn't going to find that kill in Amathra. That triumph was more than enough. Ooh, not great.
no, but you do get the dragon for one kill. They did burn a lot on the side of Subway Pizza Rats, so you're still in this. You're still looking good. You just have to keep doing what you're doing and sort of just try to keep pushing this momentum that you have. You got the mid turret, so the map is opened up. You got the dragon afterwards. You lost your mid laner for it, but you know Lissandra will be back up. The ult isn't on a very long cooldown. Everything should be good here if you are Endless Noid to just sort of keep the positivity and the momentum up.
Yeah, we
Boosted
gotta
caught
keep
out here
boosted's
hard.
so caught out. There's nowhere for you to go, man. He's just collapsed and gone.
Yeah, I mean you have your Braum mid lane. Their ADC is mid lane. I don't know what he was doing bot and how that ended up developing, but that is never a good position you want to be in as a Jinx. And now
You don't.
Zabel as well.
Zabel might be the one caught out here. Death Sentence is used. They wanted to find it on a Halcyon, but Halcyon is more than safe, more than happy to do this. Paladin Logan has been claimed in the double kill for Zeldratus. Subway Pizza Rats have been running away with this game. It was dead even for a while.
Yeah, you just start getting your momentum back and you start doing stuff, and then next thing you know, your Jinx gets caught out, and then your jungle gets caught out, And now the Otacon going over to Subway Pizza Rats is like, this is huge. And, Senna's still stacking. Senna's still doing her thing. Rocket comes in from Jinx, but that's not going to do anything.
No, it's not gonna help Bolton. You can maybe go for the rocket, but it's still on cooldown. Oh, did they use it? Did I look away and they used it?
He used the Rocket on
Ugh.
Mothra.
I gotta stop looking away. Um, I blink and I miss something there. Mike is holding down this tower really well from Ajima, but that's that poke. It's that consistent damage coming from Maiden and from that shovel from Ajima here on this Yorick is starting to add up. It's starting to stack up, but Mike is going for this AP build. How do you feel about that on this Volibear?
I mean, the rod's going to get you tanky enough. You're going to want to be able to get your W resets for prolonged fights and everything. I mean, you went press to the attack anyways, so you, you're going to want to be able to set those off and everything. But this turret is a foregone conclusion at this
Yeah, this
point.
turn's a foregone conclusion, and so is Mike. He's gone on this Volibear. There's nowhere for you to go. Another kill claimed and happily taken here by Ajima. And one last thing we do really have to check in here is the Senna. We mentioned the Senna stacks. We're doing in a really great spot here at the 60 at 16. 87 at 22 is still about on a good enough pace. Oh, Zeldratus is on that TP flank, and Braum has to run away. And that's Mothra. He wants the fight. He wants the cease and desist. He's going to be a little too slow. Gesturology was able to respond to this. They want to find
Oh,
Boosted
they get
has been
caught.
claimed. The choppers were not enough. He's found. It's Endless Noid back on they're on their back foot constantly every single play.
Yeah, and they had the momentum, they had the tempo, they had the lanes pushing the where they wanted to, and now it just seems that Subway Pizza Rats just they keep finding boosted, they keep getting these small advantages and then turning them into big things. They're rotating very well. They're playing as a team. Uh, Endless Noid really needs to slow this down. Excuse me.
I did too.
Yeah, they really need to slow this down and get back to what was working for them, which was let Zaldratis, or I mean, let Yorick do his split pushing, uh, and try to 4v4 at other places around the map, and just try to do some catching of your own.
Yeah, it's really going to be about just letting this Yorick split push develop, and Mike is hammering away alone on this top lane tower. He's going to put in a lot of work. He's got that Navori quick blades now, so there's honestly, no reason for him to really join team fights. He needs to start becoming a threat in this island. He needs to pull that Yorick on this split push. Someone needs to respond to this tier 2. Yes, you can grab this dragon here. Excuse me, as there's 20 seconds left on that respawn for it, but look at that top tower. It's under
Yeah.
threat. It's under duress, and there's a death push setup.
At this point, he's going to get that tier 2, and Yorick is going to be behind once again. You know where everybody is on the map, and you're not sending anybody to answer this. This is just a complete misplay on the side of Endless Noid.
I guess they were expecting a team fight, but I don't know. You also need to understand that Volibear doesn't care about joining. You hit tab, you see those items. He's not a frontliner. It means he can't do his job. The Death Sentence is found on Disable, but that doesn't stop smites. 3 dragons claimed for the Noids, but they're still down about 2,000 gold. 2,500, 2,600 technically, but 2,500 or so gold down. It's not the end of the world, and really all of that is in your jungle and in your mid lane.
All right, but now you wish you had the Otacon to make up with, to really help out with all these dragons that you've collected. The Endless Noid is just, they're just sort of trying to answer at this point, and Subway Pizza Rats is controlling the tempo the way that they want to, and are really just pushing the pace of the game the way that they want to do it.
Yeah, and they're moving fairly deliberately to everywhere that they're going. They're ready to make a play. You can even see here, look at them. They're corralling this Yorick
Yorick,
into
yeah.
that top side. They've sealed off every exit for him. Paladin Logan is another little tree, but that's a cease and desist. That's an Ajima. He's
Ooh,
flashing his way out of there. Beautiful dodge of the Death Sentence, but that's the flay he's found. He's in the baby cage trying to get his way out of there. Glacial Fissure used to lock down by Ajima, and that's Mike in the back line. He's trying to find some sort of play. That's a Jinx Rocket. It found no one. Zeldratus in the meantime did. Choppers is just a lockdown. You're doomed. Gesturology, he wants to re-engage. He's trying to find something. Mothra might die to that burn. Isn't quite going to do it. Gesturology in his own ultimate isn't going to be able to do anything. Subway Pizza Rats have blown this open. They're ready for the Baron.
Right, and what did we say? Like the win con for Endless Noid, protect the president, get the Jinx to get their resets, and then you win. And instead, Jinx isn't even part of the fights, and it's just not going the way that they wanted to play this at all.
No, they're not
Now
able.
Zable's caught.
Zabel is very got out, and it's a little doomed for poor Maokai's. I hope you don't like climate change, and if you do, keep watching. If you hate climate change, look away. That's the tree falling. Senna found him. There are 12 kills on the Swain, 3 on the Senna, but she's been putting a ton of work there in that side lane, like you mentioned.
Yeah, she is, and they're just showing that if you can play the lane properly, the Senna can become a beast, and she has. The stacks sort of slowed down after laning phase ended, but they did exactly what they were supposed to do in lane. Get the Braum caught out in front with the minions, get your stacks up as much as you can, and then transition this over into the mid and late game, and that's exactly what they did. So Subway Pizza Rats is right where they want to be. Maybe another dragon to push off the soul, but they're in the driver's seat of this game now.
They're very firmly in there. They need to start going through the progressions. They need to start getting that mid lane push, walk into that top side here, because that's your objective that you're really looking at. Get that vision laid down. But you can see nothing found, no wards and that no deep wards quite yet. Just some blue trinkets, and those are pretty easy to clear if you're Noids. So at this point, not the end of the world here. If you're the Noids, you have a good idea of what's going to happen on that Baron. Can you turtle through this? You do have a Jinx. It's not impossible, I feel.
Right, they just need to go back to that. Subway Pizza Rats is doing a very, very good job of noticing when people are out of position, whether it's the Jinx, whether it's the Yorick, or the Lissandra, and they're rotating and moving really, really quickly. And then next thing you know, it's 4-on-1, and then it's a 5-on-4. Whereas that's what Endless Noid should be doing here with the Jinx, with all of the frontline peel that they have. They should be the ones that are sort of pushing the 5v5, but instead they just keep getting caught out. As we see, Lissandra is up top. Subway Pizza Rats realizes it. Swain's on his way, and look at Halcyon and Major Crockett also moving their way up there.
And they're moving
Swain's
their
gonna
way up there.
W and find this.
Still no vision
Yep.
found. That's my only complaint, though. Zeldrana says found gesture, just like you mentioned. That's a very caught out Lissandra. Trying to use that TP. There's no
Nope.
CC. The death sentence was what you were looking for. Halcyon finishing it off thanks to Major Croc with a beautiful hook on a gesturology. No TP. No way for Endless Toy to get this Baron. They're gonna have to fight their way through a 4v5.
Right, and that's just another case. They're just like clockwork. They're just waiting until somebody pushes a little bit too far out instead of walking back with your E and using all of your abilities and your movement. You know, stands inside of a bush. Swain has W. Swain's gonna find you, and he does. And now you're gonna have to try to coin flip this Baron.
Well, that's no longer a coin flip because Abel's dead, but Ajima is falling to Mike in the bot lane. Mike with a solo bolo on the single dingle champion indeed. That's a York falling, that's Baron falling, Zabelfell trying to steal it, Endless Noid are in shambles. There's nowhere for them to go. Look at Boosted Sandwich trying to
He's
get
just gonna take
something
this
out of
tower
nothing.
though. Yeah.
Get
This is probably the
something?
best play that you can expect out of this. At 30 minutes in, your Yorick is getting soloed by the Volibear. That's never good.
Oh, the
Boosted doing
ghost
his
isn't
best to
enough.
just sort of, well, they're wasting ults at this
He's
point
dead.
on him, but yeah.
Well, a little bit of a waste, but look at those death timers. I don't feel like there's that much of a concern here for this dragon. There's no contest coming really.
No, and now they get to do their stacks on the dragon and take this objective over. It goes from soul point to, hey, one more dragon and they're on soul point. So, um, they could start having some confidence issues if they can't start pulling out these plays a little bit better.
Yeah, they really do. If you're no endless noid, you really do need to pull a rapid out of your hat here. You're 8,000, 9,000 or so down in between that. Down gold right now into a team comp that really is just willing to pull any fight that they can find onto you, even if it doesn't look great. They have so much gold, so many options to get in there that it doesn't really matter exactly what's going to happen. Braum can peel for a little bit. Jinx can reset, but if you can't deal that initial damage, I don't know what you're gonna do. And that last team fight in topside, I feel like that was their best chance to deal damage, and just nothing came.
Right. And then, you get to the point now where Voli somehow is beating the Yorick, right? Like he's now getting tanky. He's got the flicker blade, but like everything outside of that is all health, all damage, all tank. Like it's just such a good feeling when you're a Volibear and you're soloing your top laner at 31 minutes, and now like you don't have the split push pressure of the Yorick because he can't beat you. So now you're the one with the split push pressure. You're the one that's able to do everything that you want to do. Uh, yeah, Subway Pizza Rats has this game in hand once again, and we'll see what, if anything, they can do about it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to wait for the Pizza Rats really to get back into the driver's seat here. They're seeming to struggle exactly with what exactly they're supposed to do to end, as they're just kind of ping ponging waves, waiting for something like this. Paladin
Logan.
Logan is in the bush, caught out, gonna get the Salt and Battery. That's a flash forward. Death Sentence is forced the flash from Paladin Logan themselves, but now Gestureology is here in the backline. They found it. That's a cease and desist onto him. There's nowhere for you to go. He found the Zhonya's, has his ult already down, so he's gonna follow Ajuma's in that backline, trying to find Halcyon, but there's nowhere for you to go. That's a Volibear defensive ult to protect his AD carry. Double kill claimed by Mothra. The Pizza Rats are synced, they're locked, they're loaded, they're downloaded, they're ready to end this game and take the first series.
Right, and that's another, like, why is he there? There was nobody else around that Braum. He had to flash just so that he could W away to somebody for potential safety. Just miscommunication on what they want to do. If you're going to be sitting in that bush, it has to be a death bush at this point. You have to be able to pull the trigger and get something out of it, and instead he just goes down, and the ensuing team fight is just sort of like cattywampus scattered all over the place, and Zaldratis going in.
Beautiful,
Oof,
never
that was
move.
very
There's
nice.
nowhere for you to go. Boosted's gonna fall. Mike's under the towers. Doesn't matter. He doesn't have
This
all.
is
He
the
has more
game
than
right
enough
here.
HP. It's those Pizza Rats representing your first winner of our first series of the League of Legends series. I know it's not quite over yet. He's got the stun. Gestureology is trying to do the best he can. Mike's doing whatever he can to sustain, to tank, to do anything to kill Paladin Logan. The Pizza Rats are your first winners of the week. Oh my God, week one, series one. We got to rename that at some point. Uh, Match between Endless Noid and the Pizza Rats.
Yeah, just crisp, clean. It looks like this. It looks like the Subway Pizza Rats have been playing together for a while, and that you may be able to chalk that up to Mothra and Zaldratis knowing each other so well. And like they just had the communication. They knew exactly what they wanted to do. They were calling out when somebody was at least a little overextended, and then turning fights into an automatic 3v1, into a 3v2, into you know just advantage after advantage. Losing a little bit uh, on the objectives early, but they were still able to just sort of control the pace of the game, do what they wanted to do, let the Senna stack, let uh, Swain build up and get tanky, and be a monster in the middle of all of these fights, and never letting Jinx really feel safe and protected and confident with the ability to just go in and get their resets.
I really want to turn my attention to Zaltaratis, 100% the MVP of that game too there. The amount of times that they just turn fights on its head, how much sustain they found on the Swain, really that's going to become a concern if you're your future teammates or your future opponents is how do we deal with the Swain? How do we deal with this champion that counters close range engage, and that really comes to early game playmaking, and Endless Noise just weren't clean enough with it at those few moments. There was a few decisions I looked to, like uh Maokai trying to like optimize dragon timers over just guaranteeing a kill, and that I'm not saying that's the reason they lost, but hey, that's like one little point that you have to look at and be like, yeah, I need to make sure that we guarantee this kill. But in the end, it was still a well fought series. There was 20 minutes of that game two there that was close. There was 40 minutes of game one that was close. It looks like a 2-0, but Endless No Way, they fought tooth and nail.
They did, and it like Zad Stratus showcasing that he's not just an Azir guy, that he can play other things, and he can play things that nobody's ever seen him play before. He's obviously put a lot of work in on that Swain to be so proficient with it, and all of his movements and everything. It just seemed like
Subway Pizza Rats were just ready for this. They knew exactly what they wanted to do. Both games, they drafted how they wanted. I don't know how teams are still letting Mothra have Vi in the first first round picks, but you know that was impressive. The Endless Noid banning away the Amumu and still leaving the Vi open, where Vi just did so much. There's so many times where it's just going in, not even like locking down the back line, but they literally just locking down everybody that they wanted to in the front line, killing everybody quickly, and then just keeping the advantage in their favor was just it was impressive. So hats off to these guys.
Yeah, hats off to the Subway Pizza Rats. Congratulations one last time on a series win. They're going to go into a week 2 there confident too off of this game. And some last little housekeeping stuff. We've got one more series today. It's going to be happening a little bit later than expected. If you take a look at the calendar, it's going to be at 8 p.m. EST. It's going to be Captain Morgan's Lads versus the Tomahawk Mishaps. So make sure to stay around for that. It's no big deal, but you can finish off the LTA North series. Hey, one Shopify fan here. They're up 2-0. A little bit of spoiler, but it's okay. Other than that, though, I'm Halfling. I've been joined by Fel. We've been produced by CatHands, the captain of the Noids. It's been and another Noid here. There's two Noids in this call, so it's been a little tough to see, but it's okay. So hey, you guys have a good night, but don't get yourselves too busy. We'll see you back later tonight.
I know somebody's gonna be sitting there watching me.